Retirement was supposed to be the finish line. Work hard. Stay disciplined. Save slowly. And one day, life becomes calm. That was the promise. But for millions of millennials today, that promise is quietly collapsing. Not because they don't work. They work more than ever. Long hours. Side hustles. Constant pressure. Yet retirement feels farther away every year. Something is broken. Housing is expensive. Rent keeps rising. Healthcare costs more. Savings feel impossible. And the most disturbing part, even people with good jobs feel trapped. They are doing everything right, but the future still feels uncertain. This is not laziness. This is not poor budgeting. This is a structural shift. The retirement system was built for a different world. A world where wages grew with productivity. A world where homes were affordable. A world where pensions actually existed. But that world is gone. Today, the middle class is shrinking. Debt is normal. Living costs are relentless. So people survive, but they don't build freedom. The scary truth is this: an entire generation may never experience retirement the way their parents did. Not because they failed, but because the rules changed without warning. In this video, you'll understand exactly why retirement is becoming impossible, what forces are driving this crisis, and what people can do now before it's too late. Because once you see the pattern clearly, you stop blaming yourself, and you start preparing intelligently. The first reason retirement is disappearing is simple: the cost of living is rising faster than life itself. Millennials aren't spending wildly. They're paying for basics. Rent takes a massive portion of income. Buying a home feels impossible. Even middle-class salaries don't stretch far anymore. In the past, housing was the foundation of retirement. A paid-off home meant stability. Today, many people may never reach that point. They rent longer. They move more. They feel less secure. At the same time, debt has become normal. Student loans, credit cards, car payments. For many, adulthood begins with financial weight. And when you start life behind, catching up becomes exhausting. People try to save. They open retirement accounts. They do what they're told. But saving feels like pouring water into a leaking bucket. Because inflation quietly erodes progress. Prices rise. Money buys less. The finish line moves. This creates a painful reality. You can do everything right, and still feel like you're falling behind. Another major shift is that pensions disappeared. Previous generations often had guaranteed retirement support. Millennials have uncertainty. They are responsible for everything alone: investments, healthcare, housing, longevity. It's not just financial. It's psychological. The future feels unstable. And when the future feels unstable, people stop planning long term. They focus on survival. This is why retirement is not just becoming harder, it's becoming unimaginable. In the next part, we'll uncover the deeper reason why the modern economy rewards a completely different game, and why the old retirement path no longer works. The deeper issue is that the economy changed, but the expectations never did. Millennials were told the same story: get educated, work hard, build a career, retire peacefully. But the modern economy doesn't reward effort the way it used to. Wages grew slowly, while assets exploded. Housing prices soared. Stock markets expanded. Ownership became powerful. But most people don't own enough to benefit. They work. And work has limits. Time has limits. This is why many millennials feel trapped. They are earning income, but not building lasting security. Retirement requires one thing above all: time plus compounding. But when life is expensive, compounding becomes difficult. People withdraw savings for emergencies. They pause contributions. They restart. Progress becomes interrupted. An interruption kills long-term growth. Another factor is instability. Careers are no longer linear. Layoffs happen. Industries shift. Technology replaces roles. The idea of working one job for 30 years is fading. So retirement becomes uncertain. Not because people are irresponsible, but because stability itself is disappearing. And here's the most uncomfortable truth: many millennials may work longer, not by choice, but by necessity. Retirement is becoming a luxury, not a standard. That realization is frightening, but it also creates clarity. Because the solution is not panic. The solution is adaptation. The old retirement script is breaking. A new approach is required. In the next part, we'll talk about what people can do now, how financial freedom is being redefined, and how the future may look very different from the past. So, what does retirement even mean now? For many millennials, the idea is changing. Retirement used to mean stopping work completely. A quiet life. A paid-off home. Financial peace. But today, retirement is becoming less about stopping, and more about flexibility. The goal is no longer never work again. The goal is never be trapped. Because the real fear is not work. The real fear is dependence. Dependence on one paycheck. Dependence on one employer. Dependence on a system that keeps shifting. This is why financial freedom is being redefined. People are not chasing luxury. They are chasing options. The option to slow down. The option to step away. The option to survive uncertainty without panic. This is where modern retirement begins, not at age 65, but the moment income becomes less fragile. The people who adapt early focus on resilience. They build emergency buffers. They reduce unnecessary debt. They protect time. They invest consistently, even in small amounts. Because consistency matters more than perfection. They stop expecting the old world to return, and start building for the world that exists now. This shift is uncomfortable, because it requires letting go of the old promise. But it is also empowering, because it brings clarity. The future belongs to people who prepare, not people who assume. Retirement may not look the same anymore, but freedom is still possible, just through a different path. In the next part, we'll talk about the mindset shift that matters most, and what separates those who will struggle from those who will build real financial control. The biggest difference between generations is not effort. It's time. Previous generations had decades of compounding in a stable world. Millennials are building in a world of constant pressure. Higher costs. Higher uncertainty. Higher competition. So the people who succeed will not be the ones who work the hardest, but the ones who build the smartest structure. This starts with understanding one truth: retirement is not a date. It's a system. A system that reduces dependence over time. Most people think the solution is earning more. But higher income alone does not create freedom. Without control, income becomes a larger cage. The real shift is building income that is not fully tied to hours. This doesn't require becoming a billionaire. It requires small steps, skills that scale, investments that compound, side projects that grow quietly, ownership over outcomes. The early stage feels slow. Nothing looks impressive. No instant transformation. But consistency compounds. And compounding is invisible before it becomes powerful. This is why most people quit too early. They expect quick results in a long-term game. But financial freedom is a long-term game. Millennials don't need perfect strategies. They need resilient ones. Simple habits repeated for years. Less lifestyle inflation. More flexibility. more long-term thinking. Because the future will not reward comfort. It will reward preparation. Retirement may not arrive as a guaranteed finish line, but freedom can still be built. Quietly, deliberately, before the pressure becomes permanent. In the final part, we'll bring everything together and end with the truth that changes how you see the future. At the end of the day, this is the reality: millennials are not failing. They are living inside a world that changed faster than the rules. They were promised stability, but inherited uncertainty. They were told to work hard, but entered an economy where effort alone doesn't guarantee security. Retirement is becoming difficult not because people are careless, but because the system demands more every year. Higher housing costs, higher healthcare costs, higher debt, higher pressure. The old finish line is fading. But here is the hopeful truth: freedom is still possible. Just not through the old path. The future will belong to people who adapt early, people who build options, people who stop relying on one fragile source of stability. Retirement may no longer look like a complete stop. It may look like flexibility, control, the ability to breathe, the ability to choose. And that begins with awareness. Once you understand the real game, you stop blaming yourself. You stop running blindly. You start building deliberately. Small steps. Consistent investments. Less dependence. More resilience. Because financial freedom is not a fantasy. It is a direction. And the earlier you choose that direction, the more powerful the compounding becomes. If this video gave you clarity, take one small action today. Start preparing, not panicking. And if you want more calm, modern finance content about wealth psychology, money systems, and financial freedom, subscribe to Finvanta Finance. Because the rules changed, but you can change with them.